Hey guys, in today's video we're going to talk about faith. Um, and the reason this that I'm bringing this up is kind of atheists. um, so I've had a couple interactions I want to share with you guys. And the first interaction is that I have this friend at work who is an atheist. Um, I think he's told me that he's read the Bible, and I think he said he's read the Book of Mormon before. So he's read the Bible, he's read the Book of Mormon, but he still doesn't like. And as he's told me before, he just cannot. He can't make the jump to have faith. Um, uh, which is, I think that's very reasonable, to be honest. Especially if you're a very logical thinker or someone who's very scientifically minded. Scientific method, got to prove things before I believe them, or you have to like vet all of the things before you choose to believe them. And that kind of that makes sense to me. And we're gonna get into faith here in the end of the video. You might notice a clip jump because I'm adding a clip that I've already filmed. Um, but the other thing I want to share though is like I had a different interaction with another atheist. And this atheist was different. We were talking in some forum, and I'm LDS. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And our church does not hold that the Bible is infallible. In fact, our church is quite open to the idea of things being changed in the canon. Um, Not necessarily, I shouldn't say like changed, but we're definitely open to like the idea that every single thing doesn't need to be perfect. The Book of Mormon even acknowledges that it might have faults, and if it does have faults, they're the faults of men. Um, but I personally, this is not reflective of the entire church. I personally find it unreasonable to believe that a book such as the Bible could be in translated as many times as it has been, and been in the possession and wholly controlled by a single institution as it was for a while, and then controlled by numerous institutions before that one. Um, I just think it's well, and the fact that it didn't even exist as a combined book until like the 300 AD or something like that, somewhere after there. Um, I just find it really unreasonable to believe that every single word that's in there is infallible and is must be taken directly as it was written. And like the other thing is like I don't believe Job was a real person. I think that whole book is a parable. I kind of want to apply that to Jonah too. And so I was mentioning stuff like this in a post on Facebook, and an atheist commented on my post and was like, "What parts of the Bible do you think aren't true?" Or are not actual events. And I brought that up as like the Book of Job. I think it's a parable. There's lots of scholarship to suggest that it's a parable. It's written in the right way to be a parable. And then he called me a heathen and told me that I should believe in the flying spaghetti monster. Um, so like that's the kind of attitude that I think narrow-minded atheists have. Is this attitude like I'm right, you're wrong. God is obviously silly to believe in, so I'm obviously not going to believe in him, and I'm going to ridicule anyone who does because I think they're mentally ill. Which is like you don't go to the insane asylum and laugh at all the impatients, so why do you even care about what other people are doing with their mindset? Um, but like I said, that's narrow-minded. So I want to start real quick by talking about a lot of atheists. I've seen videos. I saw a video on this guy who commented on the Facebook post. I went to his page. I Facebook stalked him a little bit. Um, um, on there he had a video about with an atheist saying what faith is, and the atheist was just like, Christians don't have any evidence at all for what they believe in. They just choose to believe in it and then blindly follow that without any evidence, and they just refuse to see the truth. Um, that's not true. that that is not true at all. It might be for some people, but for like the vast majority of Christians that I've interacted with, that is not true. They have all had experiences with the divine that they cannot explain. I myself have had experiences with the divine that I cannot explain. Um, I've had impressions before. I've felt feelings of immense joy coming from for example, I prayed one time and I would just thank the Lord for providing the Book of Mormon and Ammon. I really love Ammon. Ammon's my favorite. And I had just read a little bit about Ammon in the Book of Mormon, and I was just so happy to have that knowledge. I prayed and I thanked God for it, and I got this overwhelmingly powerful, warm feeling in my chest. It brought me to tears. I started crying just because of how powerful it was. Um, and I have another story that I'll share in a different video about another time that I felt God's love. Um, but like even further than that, the LDS faith, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, specifically has a lot of evidence for what we believe. We're not just, oh, Jesus rose from the dead and Josephus said so, so there. Like the whole Joseph Smith story. If you go in and look at the actual story, not the Reddit posts, not the YouTube videos about what you should believe about the LDS Church or the Mormons. Go to the church website. Look up a book called Saints. You can look up the sources in there. They draw off the sources. Everything you need to know is in there. It comes off of actual historical documents that have been vetted. They're not making this stuff up, and you can read all about early church history and what happened with Joseph Smith. Um, but the TLDR of this is like Joseph Smith wrote the Book of Mormon in 66 working days when he was in his 20s with no notes and no needing to know where he left off. Like it's just an amazing feat. The Book of Mormon, when it first came out, people did not like it. People who were outside of the faith did not like it, and they wanted to disprove it. So a lot of what they called anachronisms. So an anachronism is something like George Washington having an iPhone. If someone told you we have this document that says George Washington has an iPhone, you would say that's anachronistic because iPhones did not exist. Therefore, I know your document is not real. The Book of Mormon had like over 200 of these anachronisms that people were like, oh, there's something you can't. This book's not real because of that one thing. Fast forward to today, 200 years later, and there's less than 30. I think there's less than 40 for sure that are confirmed still anachronistic that we just don't know anything about, and we can't prove that it happened. The remainder of that over 200 um, have been proven to not be anachronistic, or we're pretty close to proving they're not anachronistic. Meaning that Joseph Smith guessed correctly. If you believe that he wrote it himself, he would have had to have guessed correctly on over 200 items that that we just have no evidence of. Not to mention, there's the old world evidence paired with the new world evidence, paired with the new surfacing new world evidence, depending on where you view the Book of Mormon to be taking place. We frankly just do not know. We know it's on the American continent. It could be North America. It could be South America. It could be Florida. It could be it could be Venezuela. It could be anywhere. However, I am a Mesoamericanist. I believe it took place somewhere in Central America. I believe there are actually two rivers that I've put some significant research on my own into that I think could be viable locations. But there's other stuff too, like the new documentary Treasures Among the Maya that recently came out in like 2024 or 2023, somewhere in there. Um, they did LiDAR scans and found fortifications, fortified cities, and like fortifications for warfare built in Mesoamerica. There's only one book I'm aware of that described that kind of architecture before they made that discovery, and it was 200 years ago in the Book of Mormon. So I think it's. I'm not saying that is what it is or that those two things are related, but it seems related if you ask me. That like that's an awful strange coincidence, especially when you consider the Book of Mormon has been getting stronger and stronger over time. Anyway, the long and short of that is saying I have faith, but it's not based on nothing. Like I have verifiable facts to back up what I believe. And in this next bit of the video, I'm going to tell you how the Book of Mormon teaches you how you can have faith on your own, even without all of this verifiable evidence. You can find faith without evidence. Um, and I don't mean you can find it and not have any evidence and choose to believe. I'm saying you can find that evidence for yourself. Like without starting with evidence, you can find evidence, if that makes any sense. You start with none, you do what Alma talks about, and you get evidence. But it's personal evidence, and it's stuff that only you can understand. So enjoy that next bit. Faith might start that way, it could start that way, but by the time you've developed strong faith, it's not the same anymore. You have evidence. It's just not evidence that other people can see. Um so like and this is common. I hear this a lot with atheists is they always say, and other creators have said this too. So I'm not going to say that I'm the only person who's ever said this, but I have heard in my own life atheists say if I had some sort of God experience, I would convert. Um, and you can have one. Like you can have one, but it takes effort. We're gonna read from Alma 32, and we might read a little bit today. So if you don't want to do a lot of reading, I'm sorry. Uh, yeah, we're gonna do a lot of reading. So I'm starting in verse 26. Alma says, "Now, as I said concerning faith, that it is not a perfect knowledge, even so it is with my words. Ye cannot know of their surety at first unto perfection, any more than faith is a perfect knowledge." So what he's saying is like, especially at the beginning, faith is not perfect knowledge of something. You can't know of their surety at first. That means you're not gonna know at first. You know, but then in verse 27, "But behold, if you will awake and arouse your faculties," I have this underlined. I love that part. "If you will awake and arouse your faculties, even to an experiment upon my words, and exercise a particle of faith, yea, even if ye can no more than desire to believe, let this desire work in you, even until you believe in a manner that you can give place for a portion of my words." So he's saying, get your brain going, get ready, put effort into this, like mindfully do this. And even if the only thing you have is I want to believe, then that's good enough. Like let that work in you until you can do what he wants you to do. So until you can give place for a portion of his words. All right. And this is probably one of the most awesome comparisons in the Book of Mormon. We are in the Book of Mormon. 28. "Now we will compare the word unto a seed. Now if you give place that a seed may be planted in your heart, behold, if it be a true seed or a good seed, if ye do not cast it out by your unbelief, that you will resist the Spirit of the Lord, behold, it will begin to swell within your breasts. And when you feel these swelling motions, you will begin to say within yourselves, It must needs be that this is a good seed, or that the word is good, for it beginneth to enlarge my soul. Yea, it beginneth to enlighten my understanding. Yea, it beginneth to be delicious to me." So what he's saying is, put that little seed of faith in your heart and just let it grow there for a minute. Like don't stop saying I don't believe, stop saying whatever. Just for a while say I believe in God. Um, just for a while. He doesn't give a time limit, but like, you'll know. um, and he says over time, as you let that happen, you'll start to like begin to understand, like how people can believe in this stuff. I believe it's probably because you'll start changing things about your day-to-day routine. You might read some scriptures every day, even if it's just one verse. You might You might pray a little bit. I don't, or you don't even need to pray yet. Like that could be something down the road, but it's getting invested in religion for a second. 29. Now behold, would not this increase your faith? I say unto you, yea. Nevertheless, it hath not grown up into a perfect knowledge. So he's saying, wouldn't this make you feel good? Like you're starting to understand things. You're like, hey, when I did, and that's the point here is like, hey, I did this, and now what he's saying is happening. So he's saying, yes, you would realize that you're starting to get better at this. But it's still not a perfect knowledge. You're still not going to know everything. It's still not going to be amazing. Like, so this is basically this is a lot of work. um 30. But behold, as the seed swelleth, sprouteth, and beginneth to grow, then you must needs say that the seed is a good. For behold, it swelleth, sprouteth, and beginneth to grow. And now behold, will this not strengthen your faith? Yea, it will strengthen your faith, for you will say, I know that this is a good seed, for behold, it sprouteth and beginneth to grow. Basically what I was just saying. As you like get invested in this, you're gonna start having, let me just adjust my mustache. You're gonna start having a little bit more, it's little bits by little bits. You're just gonna start realizing things. Um 31. And now behold, are you sure that this is a good seed? I say unto you, yea, for every seed bringeth forth unto its own likeness. So part of you might be like, hey, maybe I just imagined this. And he's saying, no, no, you didn't imagine it. If you let this happen and it's a good thing, it will bring good things to you because every seed is going to do what the seed does. So if you planted a pickle in there, you're going to get a pickle. If you planted poison ivy, you're going to get poison ivy. And if you planted a watermelon, you're going to get a watermelon. Duh. um, Basic botany and uh, Book of Mormon. 32. Therefore, if a seed groweth, it is good. But if it groweth not, behold, it is not good. Therefore, cast it away. Now, that's a good part, and I don't have that highlighted, and I should. So he's saying, like, if the seed's not good, you're not going to have these things. You're not going to feel these things. So get rid of that seed. You can give up. He's saying right now, you can give up. So this is after you've done a lot of work. If you've done all that work and nothing happens, okay, you can give up now. But it's not like it's not gonna be that way. If you actually invest the time, it's going to start revealing things. 33. And now behold, because you have tried the experiment and planted the seed, and it swelleth and sprouteth, it beginneth to grow. And ye must needs know that the seed is good. So he's just restating everything he just did, and he's saying what I said is you're gonna know it's good because you've done what you've needed to do. 34. This is really important. I have all of this highlighted. All like from here to the end of the chapter I have highlighted. And now behold, is your knowledge perfect? Question mark. Yea, your knowledge is perfect in that thing, and your faith is dormant. And this and your faith is dormant, and this because ye know, for ye know that the word hath swelled your souls, and ye also know that it hath sprouted up, and that your understanding doth begin to be enlightened, and your mind doth begin to expand. So he's saying, do you know that this seed is good? Yes. And he's saying that knowledge is perfect. You have perfect knowledge and your faith is dormant. So even after all this, you still don't have like super strong faith. You have dormant faith. But it's beginning to work in you. 35. Oh, then is not this real? I say unto you, yea, because it is light, and whatsoever is light is good, because it is discernible. Therefore ye must know that it is good. And now behold, after you have tasted this light, is your knowledge perfect? Behold, I say unto you, nay. Neither must ye lay aside your faith, for ye have only exercised your faith to plant the seed, that ye might try the experiment to know that the seed was good. So after all of this, your faith is still not your knowledge still isn't perfect, but now you have faith. You have seen, but it's not faith in nothing. It's not faith in nothing. It's faith in something. It's discernible. You have seen a noticeable difference from whatever you've done. I would say reading scriptures every day, or in hanging out with other Christians. Um, just learning about Jesus, all, and trying to like live like him. All of these things are going to make changes in your life. There is a reason that people who are religious have happier lives, especially among Latter-day Saints. We've done studies, it's discernible. Like, we have evidence that it's discernible, not just one person doing it, but we have uh, surveys that have been done that show that the difference is discernible. 37. And behold, as the tree beginneth to grow, ye will say, let us nourish it with great care, that it may get root, that it may grow up and bring forth fruit unto us. And now behold, if you will nourish it with much care, it will get root and grow up and bring forth fruit. But 38. If you neglect the tree and make no thought for its nourishment, behold, it will not get any root. And when the heat of the sun cometh and scorcheth it, because it hath no root, it withers away, and you pluck it up and cast it out. So what he's saying is, now you've got a little plant, start nourishing it, pray, maybe start going to church, do more things in your life to grow the tree, to grow your faith. Do more things, go to church, pray, read more scriptures, start talking to the missionaries maybe. But if you do nothing, so like if you've done all this and you get to this point and you go, all right, that was cool, and then you just stop, it's going to wither away, and you're going to be like, later, you're going to be like, what happened there? I don't know why I did that. That was weird. I don't believe in this. 39. Now, this is not because the seed was not good, neither is it because the fruit thereof would not be desirable, but it was because your ground is barren, and you will not nourish the tree, therefore you cannot have the fruit thereof. So he's saying, if you want to have faith, but you don't do anything, you're not going to get faith because you're not nourishing the ground. Your soil has no nutrients in it. Your tree is not going to grow. 40. And thus, if you will not nourish the word, looking forward with an eye to faith with an eye of faith to the fruit thereof, ye can never pluck of the fruit of the tree of life. But if 41, if you will nourish the word, yea, nourish the tree as it beginneth to grow, by your faith with great diligence and with patience, looking forward to the fruit thereof, it shall take root, and behold, it shall be a tree springing up unto everlasting life. 42. And because of your diligence and your faith and your patience with the word in nourishing, that it may take root, and behold, by and by ye shall pluck the fruit thereof, which is most precious, which is sweet above all that is sweet, which is white above all that is white, and pure above all that is pure. And ye shall feast upon this fruit, even until you are filled, that you hunger not, neither shall ye thirst. 43. Then, my brethren, shall ye reap the rewards of your faith and your diligence and patience and long-suffering, waiting for the tree to bring forth fruit unto you. And that is the end of the chapter. So, that last bit, I'd noticed that he still did not say that you'll have a perfect knowledge. And that's because we're humans and we're not yet at a point where we can have perfect knowledge. I don't think our brains are capable of understanding that. All the mysteries of God. But he is saying, though, that you will have evidence. You're going to have the fruit. The fruit is the evidence. Once you've taken of the fruit, you can still, the tree can grow as long as you nourish it. But as soon as you stop nourishing it, the tree quits growing. So, in essence, what I'm saying, though, is faith. Atheists who view faith as this belief in nothing, and that you're just believing because you choose to, that's not true. Faith is something that you build and you work on, and you receive blessings from it as you put effort in. And so that first little bit might seem like, hey, I have no idea about God, but I'm going to put in this little bit of evidence, this little seed. I'm going to put in this seed and see what happens. Maybe they're reading their scriptures a little bit. Maybe they're just trying to be more like Jesus. Maybe they're researching Jesus. I don't know. It's a little baby step, and it's going to look different for all different people. But the more you work and let that work in your life, the more obvious and evident it's going to be that it's real. And over time you do get to a point where you can develop powerful faith that can do amazing things in your life. I know for me personally, I have had experiences with the spirit where I've definitely had voices that are not voices. I've had feelings in my mind that have told me what to do, and given me instruction on things. I've received knowledge from the spirit, at least once. It was a crazy day. I had a question. It was not something I could find the answer to. And I not that the like there just wasn't an answer available. There was data. It was a church history question, and I don't want to get into it in this video. I can get into it in a different video, but for time purposes, it was just a question, and there really wasn't an answer. There was evidence about what happened. There was plenty of evidence about what happened. But there was no evidence as to why or, anything like that. And it's just not in there. And so I instead of just being like, oh, I've lost my faith. I had the faith. I did a bunch of research beforehand, and then I found a quiet place in my bathroom away from my kids, and I prayed about it, and I waited to hear a response, and I got a response, and I got an answer. And it's not an answer that I'm ever going to share with anybody because that's personal to me. I can tell you about what I was praying about, but um I received personal revelation on it. I received knowledge that I did not have before that I got from somewhere else. Um, and that's been powerful for me. And I've also felt just God's love um on many occasions, even when I felt like I didn't deserve it. And I can make another video about that too. In fact, I might make a video about that tomorrow. Anyway, so Alma 32, great chapter. Read about the seed. It's at the end of the chapter, starting in verses read the whole chapter, duh. But it starts in verse 26 if you want to learn about faith. Um, and yeah, put that seed in. If you haven't planted it already, put that seed in. And if you already have the seed in, start nourishing the ground. Put in the work. Belief in God is not something that's easy, and it's not supposed to be easy. God wants us here to learn and to grow, and you can't learn and grow if things are just being handed to you. He'll help you along the way, but you got to put in that little bit of effort too. Hope this helps. I'll see you guys in the next one.